Welcome back, my business besties. Have you heard about me talking about Jane? You know, I grew to 55 therapists, and what really helped me was my practice management software. Today on the show, I wanted to bring a Jane expert because I'm hearing some questions from my audience and my members that I wanted to get answers for you. So you're like, should I make the move to Jane? Why is Nicole so excited about it? So welcome to the show, Leanne. I'm happy you're here.
Thank you for having me, Nicole.
So I think the very first thing, my favorite thing about Jane is the reporting. I personally find, and honestly, I don't know if you know much about comparing the reporting features of Jane to other softwares, but what I love and what I teach is you want to be on top of your metrics and your numbers. And I love that you know who no-showed and canceled, how many people actually booked this specific treatment. And you can pull, which I think is unique, quite unique to Jane, the revenue, because I'm helping everyone look at last year's numbers. You can actually specifically know the revenue just from couples counseling, which is amazing. And then that way you know your moneymaker. That's what I tell people because, oh, wow, I'm surprised. Child therapy is actually my moneymaker. I didn't think it was. And Jane helps you know that.
Yeah, we have a product performance report, so you can pull out and sort out how many sessions you had throughout the entire year. We also will calculate the revenue based on that, so you can see it right there on the column and in the report. And then you can also even start going and sorting out, get a little bit more into the minutiae. You can even see which staff members potentially are having more child therapy sessions than other practitioners.
Oh, that's so amazing. Okay. That's actually really, really good to know. I didn't even know that feature. Okay. And what are some of your most popular reporting features? Are there any others that you find practices particularly use?
There are a few, like one is the client retention report. That is, from what I understand, unique to Jane. So you can see like who hasn't scheduled, who hasn't come in. And then that can also lead you into like an unscheduled reminders report so that you can see, okay, they haven't been in for a bit. I need to go in and start scheduling that reminder to get that out for them. And we also have another report that's also really good for us is we have the potential duplicates. So occasionally clients will create multiple profiles by accident. You know, they're not, as savvy sometimes with all the software. So they'll create maybe one or two profiles. You can easily search out if you do have the potential duplicates and merge those profiles.
Yeah.
And then,
just to stop you. So I remember the duplicates. This happens more than you think, where somebody will create a profile online, but then they'll call and your admin will create a profile. So for my members, I have a reminder for you guys in your admin task list to pull this weekly. So then you can merge those. That's super great. But my favorite thing, thanks for mentioning this, Leanne, the unscheduled visits. Here's the thing. Most people don't know this. Just by following up with clients, you can get a revenue boost of 20% because they go on vacation, they feel kind of good, they forget, and 3 months go by. And what I love about Jane is unscheduled visits, right? It's a
yes.
instant reminder. I train people to call, but I like the unscheduled visit because you'll see, oh my gosh, it has been 3 months. And then the admin can call. But it's amazing that Jane also automates this. So you don't have to call. You press a button and Jane does it for you.
Yes, exactly.
That's incredible.
Yeah. One of the newest reports that I really like is the intake form report. So, like for example, if you're sending intake forms out and you require your clients to have them completed prior to coming in, rather than having to check all the different profiles to check to see if they've done it, we have one report now that will show if they've started it, if they haven't even opened it, or if it's been completed. So you know prior to them coming in. And if they haven't started or completed it, you can actually send them a reminder directly from that report.
Oh my gosh. Because again, I set up all these tasks for my members admin. And that was one of the things they'd have to come in every day, go through all the profiles individually. So that is incredible. All that time saves. They just pull the report and then within seconds can scan and see who needs and just press a button and it sends a reminder.
Yes.
Wow. Yeah. It's so interesting. For me, I think that people think practice management softwares are just booking clients. And that's where I put my notes. But when I moved, I was with a different company and I had heard that Jane had a lot of features. I didn't realize what that meant. And actually, a lot of features almost felt more stressful. I was a busy mom and I was like, oh God, more features. I don't even know. Like, does that mean more things? But it was amazing when I made the move, the more features were more streamlining, more automating, which is
Yes.
pretty amazing. And when I started to know my numbers, I started to grow because I saw what was broken. My other favorite thing that we leaned on a lot that helped us get to seven figures was Jane Facts. Now, back in the day, you didn't even have Jane Facts, but I teach people how to stay in touch and send progress reports to family doctors. So can
Yes.
you walk people through what is Jane Facts? Because it lives inside Jane.
It lives inside Jane, but it is an integration with another company, Documo. So you would set up an account with Documo and then integrate it right into Jane. And once the two systems are connected, if you have, for example, a progress report on their charting page, you would just go into the chart, click on the little three dots that are in the corner, and there's a drop down in there that says facts. And you can send just one chart note, or you can select like a date range and send multiple notes at the same time. And once again, it's just clicking on then that little drop down selecting facts. It'll have your pre-created cover sheet, and then you can just go in, add the number, and away it goes.
That is a game changer for me because doctors are kind of old school and they really wanted us to fax progress reports. That once we got into the doctor's offices, that was a way to stay connected. But I didn't have it inside Jane. And then there's security issues because it's like, oh gosh, how do I take it out of Jane? And I love that it's all securely faxed,
Yeah.
like HIPAA compliant or PHIPAA, PIPEDA, depending on where you live.
Yeah,
Wow.
absolutely.
Yeah. So a few buttons and then it's easily faxed. Yeah, that's amazing.
Yes.
What made all the difference in terms of my growth was actually faces. I don't know why other people aren't doing this, but you're the only practice management software with what I call a mini psychology today. When people land on the online booking, because most people book after 7 p.m., they see faces. And we know that faces are 30 to 50% more clickable. I see this in my program with over 1,000 therapists I've worked with. When they land on an online booking with a professional photo and a bio, they're like, oh, I'll just book now. And so many softwares don't. They just have nothing. It just slots, time slots. And I find that people bounce. Now, there are other features within the online booking I'm sure that people love. Speak about those.
I do agree actually about those profile photos, and that's one thing that I always tell people to kind of get up as soon as they can.
Yes.
And they're like, oh, it can wait. And I'm like, but you know, this, especially when so many people are doing telehealth, that lets your potential clients know who they're going to be talking to. It already gives them a face and starts building that relationship before you've even spoken with them.
Yes.
Because it is, I'm also a very visual person and I need to see somebody's face before, maybe I shouldn't be doing it, but I'll decide, okay, I can talk to this person.
We all do. We all do. I think when you go to Psychology Today, the first thing you're looking at is the photo and deciding. You're just scanning through, right? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Other things that I do love about Jane is we give you options on your online booking page that you can set up. We call them disciplines, but they're different categories and segments. So you can arrange your treatments the way you want to arrange them. There are a lot of clinics that'll have a section for new clients, and that's where they'll put in their consults and their initial assessments.
Yes. Can I jump in about that just real quick?
Yep.
So I suggest the first thing they should book on the online booking is a free consult call. So what I train people is to have a section, AKA a discipline, at the top that says free consultation with all the pretty faces of all the people. And then immediately they're like, oh, it's free. I'll book this and make my choice. Mm-hmm. But what I love is if they scroll down, this helped so much with booking with the right therapist. We would have a section, discipline, for couples, a section for kids. Yeah. So then that way they're not booking a consult with the wrong person, because it's annoying to see a face and say, okay, I'll book with them. And then you're on the consult call and they're like, I don't see children. And you're like, oh, well, that was a big waste. So I love that it's organized in that way.
Yeah. Yeah, and it is like a lot they'll sort it either by like, adults, children, teens. They'll do by individual couples, families. Some even organize them by in-person versus like telehealth sessions because, some people maybe
Yes.
don't want to come in, or some people will only want to do in-person sessions.
Yes. Now, I initially had two locations, not really, but kind of. So I had a solo and then I expanded my first office and I was in two parts of the same building, if that makes sense. And tell me a little bit about the location feature, because I work with a lot of people who have multiple states that they work with. And I love Jane's location feature.
We always have it that you have your primary location. And if you only have one location, when a client goes to book with you, they go to your main online booking page. If you have multiple locations, they go to a separate page that's a cover page, and it'll list all of your separate locations. So if you have one in a specific, like if you have your main location in California, then you have another location in, say, Oregon and another in Nevada, you can title them by the state. So you don't have somebody accidentally going into and booking for a session that's like 1,000 miles away. So they're able to clearly see where they're booking. They'll see who's available at that specific location. And it just makes the process more clear for
Mhm.
your clients. And it just makes it easier for them.
Yeah, people don't know that. They don't realize that you can have like one main page with sections, basically, states, let's say, and then you click and that will take you to a separate, distinct online booking to make it really organized. What was a game changer for me too was when we did neurofeedback. And so I had a small business partner that I gave 15% to of the whole clinic. Then we had multiple banks. So we had two corporations. One corporation the therapy flowed into, and then the other one was a mix of neurofeedback and therapy. And what I loved about Jane is it was smart enough when someone booked neurotherapy, this was unreal, that it knew that that goes into that bank account. It was on the back end. You couldn't tell, of course. We had it all color coded for the admin, but it was amazing. And I bring this up because in Canada, sometimes they'll have a professional corporation, but then they'll also have a general corporation so they can do things outside the regulatory board, like offer non-clinical things like books or whatever else. And so Jane, a lot of people don't know that either.
Yeah. Yeah. So we have it even set up with different ways. You can set it up with like different types of income categories to keep things separate. And then as well, you can have multiple Jane accounts, sorry, Jane payments accounts, not Jane accounts, Jane payments accounts to connect to multiple bank accounts. And there are clinics that'll have 5 different therapists and they have 5 different bank accounts connected. And Jane will automatically knows where to deposit that based on what we've told them.
Yeah. It's just unreal. It's because we're like, oh no, how are we going to do this? And then they're like, oh, you just set it up in the back end and it just works. I'm like, oh my goodness, thank you. Because we don't know where we're going. And sometimes we're growing and it means that you need actually a second corporation. I really appreciated when I was starting out, I wasn't making 7 figures, that's for sure. I was a new mom with twins, and I really appreciated the fee structure that you guys, this is big. I don't find a lot of other companies do this. You don't charge for a whole therapist calendar when they're only part-time. And a lot of my members and people I work with, I suggest hiring part-time first, just because you don't have a lot of cash flow. Can you speak about the payment structure?
Yeah, so when you're signing up for Jane, there is always a base fee to open up your account. And that gets you access to everything administrative. It comes also with one full license. What I also like about that is the account owner doesn't have to use that license. They can have another practitioner using that license. And then as they add their staff, if the staff is seeing clients for 24 hours or less per week, we consider them a half-time license. We only charge them, for example, half the price. So for example, if the therapist, like a full license is $40, a half license is $20. And it isn't based, we don't monitor it on week to week, but it's, like maybe somebody's going on vacation. So the week before, the week after, they see more than 24. And that's okay. We do it, and it's an average over 3 months So as long as
Nice.
they're under that 24 hours a week during that time, they can be that half license. And we have seen, I talked to one new clinic yesterday, and she was moving from another EHR where she was paying over $500 for herself and four other part-time practitioners. On Jane, for the same amount, she's paying about 240. So she just
Wow.
about halved it because her four practitioners, only one of them was full time, and the account owner is also only part time. So her one therapist who is full time got her full time license, and then we needed to add on four part time licenses, which
Yeah.
really cut the fees down.
Well, and then you can take that $250 that you have extra and invest in revenue generating things to bring money
Yeah,
in. That's amazing.
yeah,
Yeah, I appreciate that Jane scales as we scale because there's just so much
yes.
pressure at the beginning for all the costs, the rent, the furnishing, like all of the things. Yeah. I also appreciate that you guys help with the merge. For me, I had a very hefty CRM or not CRM, practice management software. We were, I think, four of us when we moved to Jane. I was already overwhelmed. We had moved into a new office and I'm like, oh no, I don't know if I want to move to a new one right now. It just feels like so much. But when I heard you just have to do a few things, but we do a lot of it for you, tell them about that.
Okay, so when you first sign up, one of our first questions, even during sign up, is already, are you coming from another EHR? And we'll try and hopefully find out which one it is, because we also have an imports team. So we let you know that you can schedule an import. To do that, you literally just go to a button on in the bottom of one of the menus, click on schedule your import, and you let us know what you're planning on importing to Jane. We let you know that we can bring over like all of your client demographics, generally past appointments, future appointments, all of your session notes, which are
Most
massive.
importantly, yeah.
Yeah, if you do have products or inventory, we can import those as well. If you're accepting insurance, we can bring insurance policies over. And then also administrative notes is the last thing we can import. We can't import billing information specifically. There's so many different ways to set that up that it's just too much to port over. But the Jane support team can always help you if you have outstanding balances or account credit coming over. We can help you set that up, because as well, we recommend when you sign up with Jane to sign up for an account setup consultation meeting. It's a 45-minute Zoom meeting where you meet with us. We will get you to share your screen if you are brand new and have no PHI. So we will literally watch, and I can see your mouse go and say, click here, don't click there, things like that. And it helps you start building that workflow already and feel more comfortable. I'll help you go in, schedule that import, walk you through the steps of how you have to export your data from your EHR. We can't access it. And then I'll show you where you would load it into Jane and click on a
It's
button to
super
let us
easy.
know that you're done. And then our imports team comes in, and they're the ones that do all the heavy work. They go in, they open all the files, they just do magic. To do the import always is dependent on how much data you have. If it's just a little bit of data, it can take maybe an hour. There's some clinic, if you're like a large clinic and you're bringing over like decades worth of notes and data, it's going to take longer. So it's
Yeah.
always, but
Yeah.
it's not like they take days or weeks. The longest I have heard of one is being almost 24 hours, and that was from our biggest clinic that we have on Jane. So
Yeah.
that's not the norm.
I was in practice probably about 15 years when I moved to Jane. So I had a lot of files. I get scared with tech. I'm afraid I'm going to press the wrong button. So I appreciate that they can get on the call with you and say, okay, press this button. But it was really easy. I exported everything in a CSV, whatever it is. And then,
Yeah.
I put it where Jane told me. And it was nice because I could pick off hours like overnight. I don't know if you still do
Yeah.
that, but it was like a
Yes.
time where because that's the tricky part. It's like, oh, well, when do I do it? When I'm in session and things are running. So I think I picked a weekend. Is that possible? Or
Yep.
like a
Yep. Yeah, we
nighttime?
do
Yeah.
weekends. And They do a lot of weekends and overnights and things like that because they understand that you probably don't want to be in there and seeing things pop up and move around while they're moving things around. So
yes. So I scheduled and it was magic. It was like I woke up and everything was moved over. And then I've seen this with my members too. There's an automatic way because I was private pay, to resend the link to all clients saying, please add, like, welcome to Jane, and please re-add your credit card information here.
Yes. So we still have that after your import, you have everybody's demographics in there. We have a mass welcome email that you're available to send out. You'll see how many you're sending out. You'll see if they bounce, how many get opened as well. And it'll say, welcome to our, we're moving to a new booking system. Please set up your account. You can edit some of the language in there as well to add your specific instructions. So it'll let them know that even though you're not moving, where their portal did move.
And I tell people too, when you're moving practice management softwares, there's anti-spam laws in Canada and the States regarding email marketing, because I help people, of course, grow and market. But I do say when you are moving, now's the time, when you're moving softwares, now's the time also to say, we just brought on an intern. We now have a psychologist on our team. We just moved, because you're emailing them anyway. So I think that's a great time, guys, to be quite strategic when you send this information out. Tell them all the other great things you're doing. Give them your brand new, beautiful online booking link, and they will click it, and it's going to look totally different than your last one, and they're going to book. Now, before we wrap up here, my last question is in network. So I work with a lot of Americans who are in network. Is that payment information moved, or do they have to put that back in?
So the insurance policies for specific clients do get moved, but prior to the import, they need to go in. They just need to list the insurers that they are in network with. It's easy to set up. You just go in, you put their name, like the insurer name, and most people now submit electronically. So they just need to add the payer ID down at the bottom and just put it there. And that's so the imports team knows which insurance companies you're in network with. So when they go to open up those files, they'll put all those policies connected to the correct insurers.
Amazing.
Yeah. And that's something that we set up with clinics prior, like in that account setup call prior to the import. And then I always also recommend another account setup consultation after their import, because the account looks different. So then we'll really start walking through. That time we can't share your screen because all of your client demographics is in there, but we're able to access on our systems the back end, and we'll still walk you through, and we'll answer any of your questions and help you start building those workflows, because we really want you to be set up for success when you join, because switching EHRs it's stressful. And it's a lot of extra work. Plus you're needing to learn a new system, and you still have your clinic. It didn't stop for you to do this. You're still doing that and everything in your life. So I always say that first month, it's a little bumpy, a little stressful, but it gets better every day. Yeah. And then 2 months in, you're wondering where Jane has been for all of your whole life.
And I appreciate being able to call Jane. I get so many comments from Americans, how friendly the Jane team is. And they just love us Canadians. They love proud Canadian, Jane's Canadian, They just are so handheld. And I think that really makes such a difference. It did for me. And as we wrap up, my last thing for everyone, I did the Jane training with my team. We had a small team. We recorded it with their permission. They handheld us. They have so many videos, but it's not like you need to know all of this and then train them. Just do it with them. Invite them on the call, depending on how big your team is. Okay. I have 2 months free for you. Yeah. I have a link to try Jane for 2 months free. As a coach, I get frustrated when I see that people don't have facts set up and they're struggling. They just don't reach out to the family doctor, or their online booking just isn't working, or they have no idea because they don't read their reports, or those reports don't exist. And then there's a bottleneck, but they don't catch it until it costs them money. Click the link and enjoy. And thank you for coming, Leanne. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. It's my pleasure.